The topic that I'm going to be speaking on is rising above all to serve. Rising above all to serve. And I'd like for us to see this particular video. Based on what you've just seen from this short video, maybe let me ask the question first. How many have seen this video before? Or a similar video, for that matter? Okay, I see one hand, two hands. All right. I'd like to share with you the 4 tools of personal transformation. The 4 tools of personal transformation. And I will abbreviate them as PM, which means personal mastery, as we go along. Now, from the video, the first thing that we need to discover is that for us to rise to the level where we have impact, there must be a transformation that has taken place within us. I want to agree with many speakers who have been on this podium that help is not going to come from somewhere else. It is not going to come from somebody else. No one has the solutions that you are looking for, except that the solution is buried deep within you. If only you will transform, if only you will give into the process. And then once you give into the process, which I will explain just now, once you give into that process, you humble yourself and you invest all of you into the process. I'm telling you now, the municipality and the community you come from would actually see a difference over time. Let me repeat that. Would actually come to realize a difference over time. I believe in overnight success only if the night is 5 years long, or 2 years long, or 6 months long, but not instant. So I'm a process person. I like a process. I like something that is sustainable, something that has been tested, that comes from a case study, that has been researched. You know, I like things like that because it means that we have solutions that are sustainable over a long period of time. Not quickly baked solutions. When I was growing up, we used to refer to something that is quick as stimseino. You remember stimseino? It goes shh, and then it dies out. Now, that's not the solutions we want. We want solutions that may be painful because those solutions are taking us through a process. But at least the pain is worth it because that solution is going to be sustainable. Let me go over what you saw on the video quickly. Now, you saw that the caterpillar, for example, sheds its outer layer, right? It sheds its outer layer and the colors. Now, that refers to the cosmetics. So the problem with cosmetics is that at the end of the day, you need to wash it off. Hello? You never go to bed with your cosmetics, isn't it? Yeah. But if it's an inside job, that's why I'm saying transformation is an inside job. For you to rise above and be impactful and help your community, it has got to be an inside job. Let me tell you why. An inside job is not like the cosmetics, which is the outside. An inside job is painful. That is why most of us avoid it. It's painful. It's painful to listen to someone who disagrees with you. It's painful. But you listen nevertheless. And you don't organize someone to shoot them. Am I coming closer? Can I come closer? It is a transformed individual who has power and authority and yet can be told he or she is wrong. He didn't hear that. You can only be a transformed individual who holds and wields power and leverage in your municipality and in your district, and you've got connections politically, and yet a mere clerk can tell you you are wrong and you don't organize for them to be kicked out of the municipality. You didn't hear me. Did you notice that when the caterpillar was ready to transform, did you notice that it went onto the leaf and then it hanged itself upside down? with the legs. Did you notice? Transformation, I have to say this one, ladies and gentlemen. Transformation is not a usual thing. It's not the usual. It's not a conference you just attend and all of a sudden you are transformed. There needs to be an upside down, inside out, outside in. There's got to be a disruption in your life. Let me make a silly example, but someone will recognize this example. When the powers that be in your municipality are starting to instruct you to do the wrong thing, take your car back to West Bank. Didn't hear me. Take your car back to the municipality. Notify FNB that your bond might have problems, your bond payment. Because all of a sudden you are realizing now that actually I'm going to lose the car, I'm going to lose the house because I'm not going to agree with something wrong in my municipality. That is what we are talking about when we talk about a transformed person. A person who will rise above more and rise above for impact. We are talking about a person who is willing to suffer personal comfort for the sake of their children, for the sake of their children's children. My English, children's children. Perpetual. So when transformation therefore comes from the inside, you become an original and not a cheap copy. And not a cheap copy. All right. Let me summarize in terms of this video. What we then realize about transformation is that you then adopt a new mindset. Somebody say mindset. Come, say it to the person. Mindset. Heart set. Hand set. Social set. For a total transformation to take place, all these four have got to happen. Mindset, heart set, hand set, social set. You cannot have a transformed mindset and yes, you are socializing with the wrong people. You can't. Yesterday I used the example of a coffee shop. Don't be the kind of municipal official who sits in coffee shops and discussing deals. Right. So the principle therefore that I want to summarize with is, on this point is, what people think about you should be none of your business. Let me say it in Zulu. If you want to rise above for impact in your municipality, if you want to rise above, you've got to adopt this thinking that says, what people think of me is none of my business. Because if it matters what people think about you, you'll always check with them whether you are right or wrong. Knowing very well that you are right, knowing very well you shouldn't agree to sign whatever paper or approve whatever on the system. But if you're not sure of yourself, you will do the wrong thing. So tool number one, therefore, of personal mastery, you need to know who you are. Look at the person next to you and say, I know who I am. Come, tell them, I know who I am. Continue with me. Tell them, I am not the car. And I am not the bond. Perpetua, how many of us can truly lose a bond, truly lose a car, and stand for principle? If you know who you are, if you stand for the truth, you will make a change in your municipality. But I don't want to stand here and lie to you. It will come at times, most of the time, at personal cost. There is a personal risk involved. That is why we don't have many transformational leaders, but we've got transactional leaders. Leaders who come to work and they exchange coming to work for money. Once you are transformed as an individual, you will have a different viewpoint about yourself. What you say, what you think about yourself, all of a sudden becomes different. Let me go on to tool number 2. Tool number 2. Right, what do you see on the picture? What do you see? Most of you will say a bicycle. I agree with you. I agree with you. Do you remember your first ride on a bicycle? Do you remember it? What happened? I can guarantee what happened. Your very first ride, I can guarantee what happened. Of course, wow. Yini yakwenza wawa. The word starts with an A. Yini yakwenza wawa. There was an assumption that because others can ride, you can ride too. And it seemed for some reason in your mind very easy to you when you watched somebody else do it. You did not appreciate, you did not realize the technicalities involved in riding a bicycle. I want to suggest, therefore, this morning, ladies and gentlemen, that, to transform means that you need to step out of your comfort zone. You need to not assume things. You need to get into a zone that is called a learning zone. Somebody say learning zone. Learning zone. The proper way of walking out of your comfort zone is to walk willingly into a learning zone. However, if you stay in your comfort zone, let me tell you what will happen over time. What will happen is that the winds of change will blow in your life. Because in the stormy sea of life, you cannot control the winds and you cannot control the waves. They will come and they will hit hard on you. All of a sudden, life will kick you out of your comfort zone. Guess where you will land? You will land in what we call the terror zone. The terror zone is when the AG is about to visit you and you are not prepared. That's the terror zone. Whereas you could walk out of the comfort zone willingly and go into a learning zone and switch on the learning mode and actually do the things that need to be done. At the time when you ride your bicycle, at the time when you want to ride for the first time, we call that stage, you are unskilled. Unskilled. But you are not aware that you are unskilled. As soon as you ride the bicycle and you fall down, you realize that actually you are unskilled. This is the stage that we call consciously unskilled. Now, most people that are sitting next to you, most of them, not all of them, but most of them, they think they are skilled in certain things. They think that they know certain things. Actually, when the rubber hits the road, they found out that actually they don't know. Then you put yourself through learning and then you become consciously skilled. This is the third stage now. You become consciously skilled. Now you can ride. You fall from time to time, but now you can ride. And then ultimately you then become a master in riding the bike. Now you are unconsciously skilled. Now you ride without even thinking. Are you with me? By the way, you don't stop there. When you are now riding without even thinking, you go back again because now you are older, you buy a car, you need to buy a car. Now you need to learn how to drive. The process starts all over again. Can I say it? Can I say it? Maybe I shouldn't. Can I say it? Yeah. Some of us need to register for new courses because actually the job you have at the municipality is phasing out because of the new age we're approaching. We're at the cusp of the 4th industrial revolution. Listen, the Uber driver is in trouble. This is the newest job. The Uber driver is in trouble. How much more an older job like yours? So you need to think about, what are the new skills that I need to learn? What are the new ways of doing things that I need? Now, when you submit to a process, this is what happens. Now, what is the relationship between these three words, or these three phrases? Are you transformed enough to see something that somebody else sees, but you don't see it yet? Ask the question differently. Are you willing to explore the possibility that your colleague sees something that you don't see yet? Are you willing? Most people are not willing. Why? Because it is difficult to think in a new way. It's difficult. I struggle with it as well. It's very difficult. But you need to be a person who's willing to actually think differently about things. That was transformational tool number 2. Personal tool number 3. Ladies, who's that? Hey. Ladies, who's that? Lionel Messi. Someone saying Lionel. Lionel Messi, yes? Right? Lionel Messi, according to the newspaper reports, in 2014, his salary was 180 million a week. Can I stop and say something there? There is a child somewhere in Sudan that is going to sleep today without eating food. And as human beings, we think we're so advanced that we pay a footballer, someone who goes to the gym for a living. Did I say that for you? Someone who goes to the gym for a living. We pay someone to be fit 180 million rands a week. Sorry, 180 million rands a week. That was, at the time, it was 1 million pounds a week. And yet there's a child that is hungry. Something wrong with our mindset. Something wrong with our mindset. Now, but the point I'm making with the transformational tool number 3, which I want you to think about, I'd like you to think about this one, is that this guy was the best paid footballer at the time. Ahead of Neymar, ahead of, who's the other guy? Ronaldo, Cristiano Ronaldo. Right? But guess what? Even though he was the highest paid footballer in the world, every day that he goes to the gym, he still has to listen to the coach, who earns way less than him. But a municipal official, esimukholela u-50 nje, u-50 nje. Usankulunkulu. You didn't hear me. A transformed person, a transformed individual, is a person who knows that at their best they are human beings. By the way, the term human comes from the Latin humus, which means dirt. Even in the Bible, I'm a Christian, so I'm quote from the Bible. Even in the Bible, you are not even the soil, you are the dust of the soil. But the minute we appoint you in the municipality, you are God now. We must worship you. Now when we see you, you are God. Because you hold the power, you hold the lever of authority. If I don't worship you, you will not process my invoice. You've got to rise above that. You've got, hey, let's put it there. You've got to rise above that. You've got to become a person who has a transformed mindset. A transformed mindset. Even Lionel Messi has to listen to his coach, as highly paid as he is. What brings up human behavior is something that we call a stimulus. Right? And the stimulus is always there to trigger something inside you. Now, I need to say this. No one can make you angry unless you've got anger inside you. Let me repeat that. No one can ever make you angry about any issue unless you've got anger inside you. Stimulus does not equal reaction. Therefore, you can never say, I can never say, so and so made me angry. That is not true. So and so was just a stimulus. If I did not have anger inside me, that which they said or that which they did would not have raised anything inside me. Let me give you an example. All of us can smoke here in the room. I will not be affected. I will not even want to smoke. Because there's nothing in me, there's no fire in my thalamus that is attracted to what? To smoking. Are you with me? But there are things, if you were to present them to me, I'll go like, I like it, isn't it? Why? There's a fire inside me. And the stimulus that you are presenting to me is attracted by that fire. Or rather, the fire that is attracted by the stimulus. Now, what the pause button does as a tool number 4 is that the pause button, that act of stopping yourself, do this with me. I am stopping myself. Come, do it. Stopping myself. It's difficult. I've been at it for 19 years, but it's difficult. It's difficult, right? When you stop yourself, you give yourself a chance to consider options. To consider options. In other words, the pause button is the space between stimulus and response. When you react, you lose the opportunity to think about your responses. You forgo your responses. This is born in parliament, people who earn 2 million per annum, shouting at each other, why? Because you then see, oh, okay, these people are not students of personal mastery. They are full of themselves. They are full of themselves. Research shows, that was done by Loma Linda University, shows that when you hold your horses, when you press pause repeatedly over a period of 3 years, touch the bone right at the back of your ear. Yeah, there's a little couple there. Press a little couple there. That is where your brain, your reactionary brain stays. This is where it's housed. It is called amygdala. Write it down. Amygdala. Amygdala is A-M-Y-D-A. Amygdala. But it's pronounced as amygdala. That's your reactionary brain. Alright? It is responsible for your 3 F's, your fight, flight, and freeze. Okay? In other words, your involuntary reflexes. When you feel like you are in trouble, that brain kicks in. The frontal lobe shuts down, all the oxygenated blood floods into your muscles and adrenaline, and you get ready to run or to fight and defend yourself, or sometimes you freeze. Now, in most boardrooms and in most corridors and offices, this is what happened. This is the reality where pause button is not used. Now, But when things go wrong, when things go wrong, what do you do as a leader? Look at the mirror. By the way, in education, this is part of education. In education, a teacher, an educator is not even allowed to pet, say, well done boy, well done girl. Because just the idea of your hand touching another individual is not allowed. Now, this is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about this principle, to say when things go wrong, there needs to be a special reflection by you, the leader, by looking at the mirror. I'm trying to say something. If you're going to rise above or to save, you have got to be a student of personal mastery, and it starts with a choice.
It's very dangerous to study success. So we don't study success. We study the contrast between success and failure. We study the contrast between endurance and collapse. We study the contrast between great and good. We study the contrast between those who thrive in chaos and those who do not. And it brings me to a key point right up front. From all we identify matched pairs of companies, matched pairs of enterprises that were in the same spot, same time, same opportunities, same resources, with the same potential. And yet, one becomes and the other does not. One thrives in chaos, the other does not. One keeps climbing while the other falls. And yet their circumstances were identical or very similar at the start. You come to an inevitable conclusion. The answer, the cause of why one becomes great and another not cannot be their circumstance. So if I were to take one giant lesson from all 25 years of research, I'd put it to you right up front. Greatness is not primarily a function of circumstance. It is first and foremost a matter of conscious choice and of discipline.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. The summary of that video is clear. Greatness is not a function of the circumstances you find yourself in. It is a matter of conscious choice. The question I want to leave you today for your reflection is, will you make the choice to rise above all, to serve? Thank you.